Thank you. Our other top story tonight, it was a chaotic situation in the sleepy town of Fairfax after police say a man kills his wife on a crowded street in front of City Hall. The disturbing killing forced officers to open fire on the suspected shooter. Tonight, 2 people are dead and a community is left in shock while they try to make sense of this tragedy. 2 Works For You reporter Darcy Jackson has been following this from the beginning. And Darcy, what do we know about the victims?
Yeah, deputies have just identified the couple as Kenny and Teresa Robertson. They say Teresa had just recently filed for divorce and had a protective order against Kenny. Folks around here say it's a tragic ending for a woman who meant so much to Fairfax.
There were no answers. Nobody knew, really what to do.
A typical Thursday morning at the shop interrupted for James early when he heard yelling outside his door.
And I ran from here up there to see what was going on. Well, they already had her on her back, was already giving her CPR, and they had the mask on her face.
There, Early saw his business neighbor and friend laying on the ground covered in blood. Even gunfire didn't stop people from helping.
There were shots fired, and we could hear the shots. And that one lady, she worked, diligently hard to get her going,
Deputies say it was her husband who fired the fatal shot from a high-powered rifle. While police responded to the call, another came out, where he was spotted heading to City Hall with rifle in hand.
There was 2 shots fired from the doorway of City Hall, and then he went out and approached the officers, and as he raised a gun, then officers returned fire.
He was rushed to the hospital, but the chaos was unheard by those helping his wife.
And I opened the front door and looked in there, and I said, well, what's the situation? She said she's gone.
Her husband later died at the hospital. Family friends say she tried to make her troubled marriage work. Her husband had a violent temper for several years. She leaves behind several children.
And the kids, everybody was just livid about the kids.
And a legacy at Fairfax Flowers that will live on in this small town.
Everything's going to be okay. Just by the grace of God, it's got to work.
And there you can see the flower shop now. It is closed right now, but we have heard that her children worked there with her. There's no word on what the future of that shop will be. Meanwhile, a lot of the businesses here in downtown Fairfax closed today out of respect for the victim and the investigation. In Fairfax, Darcy Jackson, 2 Works For You.